Hey guys, good morning. Hey Warren. Hey Chris. Titus the Great, how are you? Good morning. Hey, Adam is here early. Hi guys. What an awesome day. So another beautiful day in the neighborhood. Mr. Najafi, welcome. Okay, we have an opening joke, I think, today. Adam the Machinist says, why did the Scarecrow get a raise? Let's let this hang for a minute. We'll make that the question of the morning. Mr. Blodgett, welcome. So before we get back to the Scarecrow, it's another beautiful day in New Hampshire. Sun is shining after a lot of rain, and I think we're going to hit 65 degrees today, probably in about an hour and a half. And I'm in the shop making stones, as you saw in previous posts. In fact, I just finished a cycle on the machine, ready for changing it, and things are good. I'm trying to get lighting. I'm gonna have to bring in a little bit of extra lighting in here for these lives, and put a light over here. Good. Cycle end. Okay, so let's get back to the question at hand. Adam the Machinist correctly raises a important question. Why did the Scarecrow get a raise? Does anybody want to take a shot at that? I'm a little afraid, actually, Adam. Welcome, everyone. Got some new guys coming in. Okay, Adam. Why did? Excellent. The answer is because he was outstanding in his field. That's pretty good. Yes. Thank you, Tarsha. I couldn't have said it better myself. And Warren, lighting. No, there will be no hair and makeup, but there will be lighting. I'm a photographer. It's what I do. So I'm looking at this going, yeah, we need a little something going on here. Anyway, that's really funny. That's awesome. So, last week when we last met our heroes, I was working on the bevel grinding on the PFG stones, and Warren is don't do anything yet, Warren, but Warren's going to have a report here to tell us a few words about how things are going. Let's see. I think we got this one. Sorry, there we go. Okay, I'm just dealing with Instagram here. Oh, that's what we got to do. I got to hit that button. Boom. So we made a couple of bevels on 4-inch stone to see if we get the process sorted out. And if you were following, you don't need anything more than your thumbs, Warren, just to type something. Don't worry about it. We're not going to put you on the spot. But so we got a process going. We got a fixture going. If you saw the pictures, made of a sine plate and a small grinding vise, and properly ground some bevels that came out quite nice. The downside, this is just an engineering process, right? So you do something, even if it's wrong. So it took too long to make those bevels. It takes a long time. So and the reason is I just ground down using the same exact recipe that I use on the major faces of the PFG stones, and that takes a long time because it doesn't. It's not a big rougher. It doesn't remove a lot of material. However, it got the job done. So then Warren came to the shop and he picked up the prototype, and then he went off and immediately started using it on a Bridgeport scraping project that he's doing, where he's rebuilding a Bridgeport, and he posted some really nice pictures at his channel or his Instagram, Warren Jones 4570, and looks like it's working great. We made a 40 degree included angle. I'm going to shut off the mist collector. I think that's what's making me crazy. Hold on one second. Yeah, there we go. I was wondering why I was yelling, and I don't remember having to yell before, but I had the mist collector powered up, and now it's off. So we made a 40 degree included angle bevel, and we did that to a PFG S4 stone, which is the 4-inch stone. And I put a 45 on one side and a 40 degree on the other side, and I sent Warren into the wilds of scraping land. And what do you think, Warren? I don't think we talked. I saw your posts, but has this been a success? Do you want to try joining us on video? Let me know in the text. If no video, we'll just let you type some comments on what you found with the bevel stone. So basically, the next step, if this is deemed to be a success, the next step is going to be improving the process so that we could speed it up. And I have a way to improve the process. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to do a little bit of drawing here to show you, what's going on. In fact, let me do a quick drawing. So there's a stone being held in the vise, and we want to remove all the material above this dotted line, okay? So what I had done is I had programmed up in the CNC okay, let me know when you're ready, Warren. We'll try the video thing. I programmed it up to just grind that area, right? This full area. Well, you can tell that as it's going down, it doesn't need to be grinding out here as it's doing the top. So this was a pretty slow process. And the 40 degree bevel took 45 minutes, which is too long. So we're gonna change the programming so that we start with a plunge grind, so that we grind down right on top of that apex until the wheel width is reached, and then we switch into that other mode. So on the Okamoto, those are two, I forget what we call it, 2 lines of code, basically 2 lines of filling a form out and then telling the grinder to do them in sequence. And I think that's going to cut that time in half. Let's get Warren in here. If this works, you're going to see Warren, and you'll have 2 ugly mugs to look at. There he is.
Ah.
There you are. How are you?
Oh, pretty good. And you? How's everybody doing?
Doing great. So interested to hear your feedback on the bevel stone experiments. What was good? What was bad? Tell everyone what happened.
I kind of like it. It fits down in there good. There's good clearance. I think it only needs a bevel on one side, though. What that does is it makes it kind of tippy, or makes it hard to handle when you got it stuffed down in the bevel.
Okay.
Uh, so I guess you'd have to pick either the brown side or the red side. I used the brown side and found it worked great. It just took the burrs off, and of course it quit cutting. And one of the things with a not flat stone is you can actually overstone a scraped area and take off too much. And Richard King always warned about that. Don't overstone. And you can't do it with this. It just knocks the burrs off and smooths right out like it does on any surface, and it works great.
So I think what I hear you saying is that in the past with a standard stone, it keeps cutting.
Yes.
But with a PFG stone, because of the geometry, it's as soon as you hit flat, it stops cutting.
Correct. Just like a standard bench stone, it'll keep on cutting.
Yeah.
Not flat.
Well, that's pretty cool. So here's another question, because I've been wondering about this. We can go to single grit stones for some applications. I think the dual grits in the standard PFG stones, I think the dual grit stones are nice because you have a choice. But in this application, would you have preferred a single grit stone, or would that not have mattered?
I don't think it matters. I just chose to use the brown side,
Yep.
and I think it's a little coarser, maybe. I'm not actually sure what the grits are on those, but it just knocked the burrs off real quick, and that was good.
Nice. Yeah, I think I intentionally did the 40-degree on the brown side for you. And frankly, the only reason we have a bevel on both sides is because it was an experiment. But that's really good to know that you noticed it was a little tippy, and that kind of informs what we're going to offer. We'll offer a bevel on a stone. Tarsha Metalworks asks, are both sides beveled so that you can get in with fine and coarse? I think we're addressing that now, because Warren had a stone that was beveled on both sides, and he didn't like it. So even though that's possible, I'm not sure it's going to be a good thing. The other thing, everybody, keep in mind that in a PFG stone, the whole concept of grit is different. It really only means how big the pores are in the stone for the swarf to go. It really doesn't affect how the stone behaves once it's been precision fine ground, flat ground. So anything else you want to add, Warren? I think that's a pretty cool report.
No, I think you're on the right track here. I really do. It performed well, and I'm very happy with what I had so far.
So Tarsha says, sorry for the misunderstanding. Wasn't sure if it was a can't get purchased because of opposing bevel. Yeah, I'm working it out, Tarsha. We'll have it once it hits the site for ordering. I think it's going to be pretty clear. It's going to be pick your variation, and also by then I will have done the time study on putting the bevels on, so I'll know how to price it. But it's coming soon, and I've had a lot of people bugging me about it, even though it will still be a minority of people that will ask for bevels.
I do have another idea.
Yep.
And I don't think you need to sell those as a pair, because I just took it and rubbed it on another stone, to clean it and flatten it like you would do with a standard pair of PFG stones.
Yep.
It could be like a nice addition to a set of PFG stones, because on a place where you don't have a bevel, I just use the regular stone.
Totally agree. I think it's going to be, if you already own a pair of PFG stones and you want to add a beveled stone, that's going to be an option. And I think another option is when you order your stones, you could just specify whether you want bevels or not. So I don't think you could own a single stone. I don't think I will support anybody buying a single PFG stone. That doesn't make any sense at all. It's like buying, a car with 3 wheels. Um, so I agree with you. Cool. Well, thank you for the research, and we'll keep going. I'm pretty close. I got to sit down. I got a couple hours of doing some math and programming this better, more efficient grinding technique. Let's see. I'm gonna let you go unless this question that just came in had to do with you. No, we did that already. Okay.
What, Chris wants to know why I'm so ugly?
Everybody wants to know that.
That's just the way it goes, man. All right, we'll see you later.
All right, buddy. I'll let you figure out how to click off. I have no idea how to advise you.
I don't either. Yeah.
You'll figure it out. Well, he's doing that. Oh, here's a good question. Chris, the pragmatic machinist, always pragmatic, asks, will only the bevel be flat or will the whole body be flat? So the answer to your question is every surface, the bevel will be flat. So originally we had talked about doing bevels on the stones just as a clearance to get the major face into where it was going to stone. And that's a very good question. My feeling on that is that I think we're going to precision grind the bevel also. And I don't think there's a good reason to not do that. It would save time because putting the full PFG recipe on the face of the bevel, it takes time. The biggest amount of time is in the final fine grinding of that face. It takes the longest. So yeah, if we say it's just a clearance grind, yeah, we could reduce costs, reduce the time in the grind. But I don't think that's a good thing. I think I want to, after I saw the results that we got out of the experiment, I was very pleased with it. So I think I want to keep it having the same PFG surface. So far, just the ends. Do I have a stone here? I have an unground stone. So far, just the ends are not precision ground. All the major faces are precision ground. The sides and the faces all the way around. And then when we put the bevel on, the bevel is going to be precision ground. So you're going to be able to use the bevel. Does that answer your question, Chris? I hope so. Yes. Okay, Adam. You're going to make me talk about this. So could a cheap tile saw rough the corner angle off and then you just dust it with the diamond wheel? Absolutely, yes. But it complicates the process. Whereas right now it's, as you know, it's put it in the machine and hit the button. That's a little bit of an oversimplification. Yeah. And I think I want to. I think, Adam, I don't want to do that. At least I'm not going to do it at first. The saw, yeah, you just said what I'm trying to say. The tile saws aren't CNC. Exactly right. So I think at least in the short term, the answer is going to be no. I have been shot. I mean, for months and months and months, I've been kind of looking around for a tile saw that I liked, and never pushed the button on it. But I think for the short term, the answer is no. I'm going to do it all on the grinder. Let Mr. Fanuc worry about it. Oh, Chris. Okay, I guess we have to answer Chris's question. Why did Warren choose to put his bald head under a bright light? I think it's because he is. I think it was. I don't think that was a bright light. I think that was actually just how he looks normally. Um, and Warren, Warren is telling all of you that I don't have a tile saw. I don't have a tile saw. Welcome, guys. So, what else do we have here? I had a question come in. Another good question. You guys are on it today. Will the point be relieved? Okay, so I was grinding down to a 20 thousandths flat on the point. 20 thousandths flat on the point. So that's my number right now. And that felt really good. That felt like a good setup. I liked it. And actually, I take it back. It wasn't a 20 thousandths flat. It was 20 thousandths times the square root of 2. So it was like 30 thousandths. It was like a 30 thousandths flat. Okay. I hope that answers that question. Yeah, if we went down to a sharp point, you would not like that at all. That would be unpleasant in the extreme. So yeah, it'll be about 30 thousandths. Good question though. So I appreciate this kind of feedback and this kind of like helping tune in the interest on these on the bevels. So I'm going to get this cranked out as soon as I can, and once we're set up to take orders, it'll be on the site. I'll tell everybody, and we can do bevels. So if you have a set of PFG stones and you just want a new beveled stone, that won't be a problem. Okay. And if you want a pair of stones with maybe one bevel on each stone, that's how you're going to order it. And you can choose in the short term. You can choose if you want your bevel on the brown side or the orange side or one of each. I think those will be the choices on the site. So you could think about that. I do have one customer patiently waiting for the 8-inch stones with a bevel. And those will be probably the first ones I do out the door when we set up for bevels again. Yeah, Warren says we'll see how tough the edge is when you drop the prototype. I'll tell you, if we went to a sharp edge, that thing wouldn't last 10 minutes. The sharp edge would become a not sharp edge very quickly, so I don't think you want that. So I picked a number, and that was the number I picked. 20. It was 20 thousandths. It was 20 thousandths shy of the point vertically. So, again, that's like 28 thousandths, I think you'd call it. 28 thousandths? I'm not going to do the math. Anyway. Cool. So what else do I have to report? The Okamoto's been great. Nothing super new in the last week. The experiments, I think I've reported on the bevel experiments pretty thoroughly. I have a machining project in the shop that I have been putting off. Haven't gotten to. Maybe this week it'll get some love. So if you guys have any general questions. Oh, I do have homework from last week, and the dog ate my homework. I didn't do a super good job of collecting a list of books, but I did come up with an idea. One of the books that I like. One of the books that I like is the Norton, and you could find this online, the Norton Handbook of Grinding. In the old editions, there are PDFs now, scans of the old editions available on the internet. I have a nice copy of one of those, and I can put that up. I'm going to create a place on the website for these documents, and I'll put that up as a public service. and you guys can have at it. But that's if you have the ability to go find that PDF file, I think you'll find it, and it's worth getting. And yeah, one of the arguments is that oh, that's an old book. Yeah, it is. There's not much that's not relevant still. I know I have one, and I grabbed the PDF, so I'm going to put that up on the website, and I will make a link somewhere, and I will let all of you guys know about it. And if anybody else has a cool document that you think would be applicable, we'll put it up there also. Also, Google Books is your friend. Google Books has a zillion books that have been scanned in, and some of the older ones will also be available in Google Books. And I'm pretty sure that the older versions of the Norton grinding manual are going to be in there. Norton's been doing this a long time, which, by the way, is the reason that all of the material we use to make PFG stones is Norton material. We don't use any other materials, regardless of where they're imported from, including but not limited to China. So, okay, who has some cool questions this morning? Let's see if we can't address some new items. I was also thinking about expanding I did a video a while back about, how to get started in surface grinding, and it's on the website. If you go to pfg.gg and you go to the bottom, I think you can find the playlist on my YouTube channel of all our videos, and one of them is that video. But I was thinking that maybe it might be time to do a more extensive version of that. So if there's any interest in that, let me know. So what are you guys doing today in the shop? Let's start with Adam. Adam, what are you doing in the shop today? We could all predict what he's about to type. I'm going to drink some tea. Ann Jones, 9236. Welcome aboard. What are you doing in the shop today, Ann? Adam is making Cat 40 holders for his Lista cabinet. Oh, I was following your posts, and I think that's pretty cool. My buddy, the other Adam, one of my many other Adams, Adam Brunette of MHM Machining, he actually has a very nice 3D printed design for Cat 40 tools that hold the tool horizontally and keeps it from rolling, and they interlock. So if you're interested in that, I don't know if you have a 3D printer, Adam, but if you're interested in that, I'll hook you guys up. Another question came in on the question button. Fad Radcater says, blow or suck swarf? Struggling with what I like better. You guys. It depends. So on the grinder, I use air, air pressure, pressurized air, to blow off the chuck and to blow off parts. And I don't do it like an idiot. The air is never pointed at the spindle. It's never pointed at waves. It can't get there. So don't give me any gas on that. So I use air pressure a lot. In grinding, I'm trying to remember if I ever use a vacuum. I have a vacuum, which I've used for dry grinding. So I'll set the vacuum up on the wheel. Can't see it, but the wheel housing, if I'm doing dry grinding and not using any coolant. But recently, I can't remember last time I used the vacuum cleaner in the grinding process, because my grinding process is very wet, lots of coolant. So it's all going down the drain to back to the coolant tank. And then if I have to dry things off, I use air pressure. So that's my answer. I hope I answered it. The same is not true, over on the machining side. I use the vacuum a lot, but not on the grinding side. So there you go. Good question. Barth says, no shop work today, paperwork. But he bought a Biax power scraper yesterday. Looking forward to learning how to use it. I saw your post, and that's pretty cool. I'm going to get back to scraping one of these days. And I actually I bought a piece of cast as a project. Just keeps falling off the radar. Too much going on. As a follow-up, while other questions are being formulated, I will tell you about the follow-up to the Form Labs visit on resin printers. Warren says he hasn't made it to the shop yet, but he's heading there to clean the hellhole up. Well said. The Form Labs guys, makers of fine resin printers, are sending me a couple of blocks of printed resin that I'm going to be doing some RF measurements on up in the lab. I was very excited because there may be some antenna design applications for the resin printers from an electrical point of view. So I'm going to be measuring dielectric constant and other properties of the resins up in the antenna lab, and I'm quite excited about that. So they've been super good. These Form Labs guys are awesome. The printers seem expensive, but if you're actually doing something important with them, they're not expensive. I can understand why they might seem a little expensive for a hobby guy, but very impressed with them. Very technologically savvy. Very easy to get my questions answered. I'm able to go visit them. They own their own resin manufacturing facility. Huge difference. I don't know if I mentioned last week when I was telling you about the Form Labs trip that their resin, there's no smell to their resin, like none. So that continues to impress me. Yes, Adam, I am saying fidget spinners aren't important. And I'm just that's my position, and I'm holding it firm. I'm not gonna budge. Fidget spinners. Yeah, trust me, I printed some fidget spinners also on my filament printers. This just in. Barth Arkema. Can you hey, is your first name Bart or Barth? Tell me that in the chat. I want to figure that out. Round stones in different sizes, question mark, or one size. Inside radius would be useful to have different sizes. Okay, I think I know what you're getting at. So do you want a precision ground surface on the periphery of the round stone? I'm trying to figure out. Okay, Bart, thanks. I thought that, I don't know why today I kind of drifted off. I thought I had that figured out before. Inside radius would be useful to have different sizes. Do you want the round surface to have the precision grind on it? Adam wants some that are coin sized. Okay. So if you go, you don't have to worry about this. Well, if you want to do it. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Adam. So, okay, I'm going to take this as homework. Um, the Norton catalog has actually an amazing variety of stones that we typically never see. And um, I'm making a note here. There may be some nice stones which I can put the recipe on for you and basically put it in the product line. Let me take a look. And if you find the Norton catalog, um, I forget what they call it, but they have, if you go to the Norton site, you'll eventually find they have all their catalogs as PDF files. Uh, and I think the one with all the stones in it is called like sharpening or something like that. If you find one that you like, let me know. And I think we can work something out. But we'll look for it. Are you talking about you know, this is what is this? That's an inch and a quarter. Is that the kind of round you're talking about, Bart? I mean, that class of sizes. I mean, right now our round stones are 4 inches in diameter, so I totally get where you're coming from. But how small are you talking? And I will go look in the Norton catalog. I actually have it printed in dead trees sitting on my desk. Flat and angle post scraping. Okay. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what's easy and what's hard. A bit larger. Okay, I get it. What's easy is taking a flat stone and making it flat is easy. I mean, it's not trivial, but it's straightforward. Now that we're doing some of the angles. Oh no, Bart, I'm from Brooklyn. Imagine the trouble that I'm having. Uh, now that we're doing some of the angles, we may be able to do some fancier stuff. But holding a small round stone is not much different than holding a big round stone. So I think we may be able to do that. Thank you. Good question. And Adam, I will also take that under advisement. Um, and I said before that we can get some of a lot of the shapes, like I believe I can get this 4-inch shape. I believe I can get these in single grits. If there's a strong reason to do it, I can do it. The downside is I have another SKU, another part to stock and keep track of. So that's the only downside. But it can be done. Excellent ideas. Thank you, guys. That's a lot of fun. If you have any other questions, put them in the question button thing. We're going to aim for 12:45 to wrap it up. That's usually what we aim for, and it's coming up in 6 minutes. And then I'm going to be getting back to finishing up all these stones. I'll show you. I have a tray full of stones to do. All orders from last week got shipped. Bart says he had a machine part with a large 200 millimeter flat in an ID face. Got it. A large round stone would be useful. So if you look on the website, we have 4-inch round stones. 200 millimeters is right there. Might be actually just exactly the wrong size. But take a look at the round stones. I try to keep one of each set of the 4-inch rounds in stock. I do have both aluminum oxide 4-inch rounds and silicon carbide 4-inch rounds. And so far, the aluminum oxide, this is weird. The aluminum oxide has been very popular, and my math may be off. What's new? Um, no, it's definitely off. So the aluminum oxide round stones have been very popular. The silicon carbides have been less popular. But the funny thing is, in the machining community, you see a lot of guys using the 4-inch out of the box Norton silicon carbide round stones to do tables. And every time I see that, I cringe because I've tested them and they are not flat. I mean, they're not flat to our standards. So those are also a size that we do. So yeah, thanks, Bart. Mr. Najafi says, how accurate is chamfer grinding using an angled vise? Can we grind with an accuracy of 0.1 degrees? Well, a sign plate, you know, a sign table. I don't know if I can lift this. Hang on a second. Hang on. I got to stand up. Oh, man. All right, so here's a sign plate, and it has a roll, and down here is a flat. It's got a pivot roll. This is actually 2 parts, and it pivots on that roll. Oh, around 8-inch. Roger, Bart. Haas tables aren't flat either. 2 wrongs make a right. Well, yeah, you and I are on the same page of music. So this is a sign plate, okay? So the accuracy of the angle is determined by the accuracy of this roll, the distance between that roll and that roll, the accuracy of the diameter of that roll and that roll, and then the accuracy of a block that you're going to put between the base and that roll. See this little gauge that I just put in here? That's my 45-degree gauge. You'll notice that there's some airspace above it. That's because it's set for 40 degrees. So to answer your question, and then of course on top, I have bolted a grinding vise. So your question is, how can you get to 0.1 degrees? And the answer is sure you can. Absolutely you can. It's all a matter of using sufficiently accurate tools to set it. 0.1 degrees doesn't sound scary to me. So I think if you use gauge blocks and a good sign table, I don't think 0.1 is hard to get to. And then off you go, chamfer grinding. Now, why you need to grind a chamfer with an accuracy of 0.1 degrees is absolutely beyond me. But I tell you, a 45-degree chamfer ground in a setup like that looks awfully nice. So I would go to the engineer who made a drawing that said that the chamfer has to be accurate to 0.1 degrees, and I would have a chat with him. I think it's the number one problem is engineers, and I am one, engineers who overspecify. It's ridiculous. They don't know what they're doing. Kids these days. So any other questions, guys? Topics? Insults? Anybody want to say something positive about somebody else? We like that too. Around 8 inches. You're very welcome. So, Adam, am I being unreasonable calling a 0.1 degree accuracy on a chamfer egregious? Or are you saying that engineers who overspecify is where you make all your money. I think that's what you're saying, and I think I understand that completely. Yeah, yeah. I, I can see Adam now as the deburring is specified in microns, and Adam says, "No problem, sir. Here's the price. Just sign here. We'll get right on it." Hey, I do the same thing in the antenna world upstairs. Same thing happens. It's pretty funny. I can give you that, and here's how much it's going to cost. Will that be check or charge, or PayPal, or Venmo, or EF8? Was it EFH? Just, is there a general purpose stone, or are they generally use case specific? Do you mean stone in terms of hand stone, or a machine wheel? I think you're asking about a grinding wheel, but I just want to double check. And I think I'm going to give you an answer that Adam will approve. Oh, for maintaining tables. Well, so okay, I got it. I know what you're asking. If you could only own one set of stones, one set of PFG stones. Yeah, okay. If you could only own one set of PFG stones, I would say for most people, the 6-inch PFG stones is sort of the general purpose, does almost everything. And if you were just stoning a table, I mean, I stone my chalk all the time with it. I stone my vices all the time with it. So a 6-inch set is really nice. If 6 inches might be a little big, if everything you do is small, then the 4-inch set. I would say either one of those would be the ideal thing for just owning one set of PFG stones. And again, do I do big stuff? 6-inch. Do I do small stuff? 4-inch. After that, I think the round stones, if you're doing, like Warren and I just had this conversation last week. Warren was here, and he picked up a set of round stones. If you're doing a lot of big flat surfaces, I think the round stones are superior, because of one strange fact, and that is every time you pick up the stone and you're conditioning them and using them, you're picking them up in a different orientation, so it distributes the wear, it randomizes it. That's a pretty nice feature. But if it's general purpose and you're not specifically doing lots of big flat surfaces, then yeah, the rectangular stones are great. So that's kind of how I think about it. Mainly looking for what to start on a Haas mini mill that you're impatiently waiting for. Haas mini mill, either the 4-inch or the 6-inch would be fine. Yeah, I would go with either one. The 4 inches can get into some smaller spaces sometimes. Boy, you can't go wrong with either way. But I like this. I've been enjoying the 6 inches more for when I'm doing machine setup. Clean the chuck, stone the chuck. Clean the vise, clean the bottom of the vise on the VMC. I kind of like the 6 inches. I started liking the 4 inches at first, but I think the 6 inches are my favorites now, and the 4 inches are for smaller stuff. Mr. Blodgett says, better to rub stones together before touching to surface or after? Oh, before. Oh, yeah. Absolutely before. So when you pick up the stones, I'm going to use the 4 inches for demo here. So let's say, for example, I'm going to stone the face of this grinding vise. This is the movable jaw from a grinding vise. Okay. Oh, yeah, Frad Radcater says hand size might have something to do with that too. Do you think? Yeah, it's true. So whatever you like. So if I was going to stone the face of this grinding vise, I'm going to show you exactly what I would do. If there was any oils involved, I'd take my solvent, and I'd use a little bit of solvent and clean it up. Okay. If basically it was already not oily, I would take my squeegee that I carry around with me, and I would just wipe it off nice and clean. Okay. The next thing I would do is I would condition my stones. Okay, and I haven't used these today, so let's see if we could. I'm going to put it near the microphone. Let's see, and you'll feel them clean up. Okay, and then immediately after I do that, I pick it up and I apply it to the work, and I go. And what do you know? I just heard something. And it actually, I think it picked up a burr. Yeah, it picked up a little burr. Isn't that funny? There was a little burr down here on the leg, on the bottom of the leg here. And I was surprised by it. But there it is. There's a tiny shiny spot. I don't know if I can get it to shine for you. There's a tiny shiny spot. I just picked up a burr. Okay, and then when I'm all done with that, and I'm happy that I'm finished, I'll take my stone and put it back in the tray. Put it back in the tray. Okay? And there it sits. So, yeah, you could hear it. Good. I'm glad. That surprised me. I didn't expect it. But, yeah, that's what happens. You start using the stones everywhere, and you start finding all of that stuff. So that's how you do it. Okay? You always, like, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to pick up the stone. The first thing I'm going to do is condition one stone on the other before I go to use it. Hey, thanks for making me stone the face of this, because I hadn't done it in a while. Okay, did I answer that question? I hope I answered that question. But that's how that's my approach. And even if I'm doing like the chuck on the grinder, same thing. I pick up my solvent, I clean off the chuck, then I hit it with the stones every time. But I always condition the stone immediately before I put it on the work. All right, I think we beat that one to death. Excellent. So we're overtime. We're all getting paid overtime now. Any other questions? Otherwise, we're going to wrap it up, and I'm going to get back to work. I break your stuff. Welcome. You're showing up right at the end, man. You're breaking my stuff. All right, Fad Radcater, have a good one. Live long and prosper. You guys are awesome. I hope you have fun in the shop today. Maybe make some money. If you have PFG Stones, show them some love. If you want to order PFG Stones, go to pfg.gg. I had some guys tell me they didn't realize that .gg was a top-level domain. It is. So pfg.gg, it's a shortcut. Take care, Mr. Najafi. Warren, we'll see you later. Adam, thanks for being here. Tarsha, have a great day. And with that, I'm going to say have an awesome day. Go make something and help somebody else out. Take care, guys.